My name's T.Martin, and I was researching mechanical engineering and chemical engineering. So when I was younger, I was a stereotypical nerd. My parents sent me to Carnegie Mellon Science and Engineering Camp for like 5 years. And in Pittsburgh, we were able to basically learn about engineering and science, and as a kid it really got me interested in engineering. So in 7th grade, for our science project, I also went to a really rigorous middle school and high school. I built a solar furnace, and I thought that was really cool, and that's what got me interested in like chemistry and stuff. And then 8th grade, I built a ROV, which is a remotely operated vehicle and stuff, so that got me interested in mechanical engineering. So I went into high school, and I started taking all these science and math classes, took a lot of AP science, a lot of AP math classes. I finally decided that I wanted to go into engineering, so I decided to go to college, and I chose the University of Kentucky. Many students believe that college's sole purpose is to prepare them for a career they're interested in. College is meant to allow students to experience cultural transformations depending on where they're from and to get to know themselves better. I believe college is intended to enhance skills one already has and create new ones based on their major selection. At the beginning of the semester, everyone in my WRD 110 class was given the opportunity to research the majors of their choosing. Over the course of 4 months, I decided to research mechanical and chemical engineering. In my research, I wanted to figure out my personal purpose in college and determine which branch of engineering would best suit me. This project is important to me because it allowed me to further investigate areas of study I'm interested in, and also to better understand what each branch of engineering does. In my own intellectual adventure of interviewing other engineers and listening in on lectures, I was able to better understand the industry I'm going into. So here are some research questions that I had at the beginning of the semester. What kind of classes do I need to take for each engineering degree? What do chemical engineers do versus mechanical engineers? What type of engineers do companies like NASA, GE Aviation, and Toyota hire? Those are the main companies I'm like looking to work for, or at least co-op with. What are chemical engineers' schedules like versus mechanical engineers, like on a day-to-day basis? What's the average salary of a chemical engineer versus mechanical engineer, average GPA that I would need to be able to get a great job? Which engineering best allows me to work with foreign countries and third world countries to better develop them, because I really want to travel and like help the world. And I know there's a club called Engineers Without Borders, and they go to countries like Africa and India and build roads and build systems for them, which is much greater than what they used to have. Another question is, on a day-to-day basis, what type of problems are mechanical and chemical engineers faced with? And I want to know what type of process they go through to come up with a solution. And then another question is, what's the job market like right out of college for chemical engineers versus mechanical engineers? So this is, for mechanical engineering, this is the type of classes I would have to take. So my first semester, I had to take an EGR 101 class and EGR 102. 102 is like coding and stuff, and I absolutely hate coding, so I know I don't want to go into computer science. But I also had to take college chemistry 105, and then Calc 1 and stuff. Next semester I'll have to take chemistry 2, Calc 2, engineering 103 and stuff, and then my sophomore year is basically the same type of stuff. I have to do physics lab, and I start doing engineering thermodynamics, which I'm really excited about, and I go all the way to Calc 4. And then junior and senior year is when I get really into like mechanical engineering, and I start doing like thermodynamics and fluid mechanics and mechanics of deformable solids and stuff. And then I'm really excited for my senior year, because that's when I'm hopefully going to be able to get my main co-op, which is when I work with a company. So very excited. Chemical engineering classes I would have to take. So my freshman year is basically the same thing. Chemistry, EGR 101, 102, Calc 2 and stuff. Sophomore year, I would have to take Calc 3 and 4 and stuff, and I would have to do Chem Lab and Physics. And eventually I would get into like physical chemistry for engineers and Chem Lab and heat mass transfer and stuff. So I'm pretty excited for that. I wanted to figure out what mechanical engineers do. Mechanical engineers design power-producing machines such as electric generators, internal combustion engines, and steam and gas turbines. Chemical engineers apply the principles of chemistry, biology, physics, and mathematics to solve problems that involve the production and use of chemicals, fuels, drugs, and stuff that we use every single day. The companies I wanted to learn about were NASA, GE Aviation, and Toyota. And NASA tends to hire all kinds of engineers, but they especially hire aerospace engineers. GE Aviation tends to hire mechanical and aerospace engineers because they work with like airplanes. Toyota tends to hire mechanical engineers to redesign their vehicles and other machinery. So basically, I should probably go into mechanical engineering if I really want to work for the companies I'm interested in. So the average salary for chemical engineering is about $103K to about $150K, and then mechanical is about $89K to about $125K. The average GPA I would need would be above a 3.5. Chemical engineering GPAs tend to be lower because they're much more rigorous. When interviewing mechanical and chemical engineering students, I found out that chemical engineers study 35 to 40 hours a week outside of class, which is insane. And mechanical engineers study about 25 to 35 hours a week outside of class, which is still pretty crazy, but as of right now, I'm kind of used to it because that's what I'm doing right now. One of my main topics that I wanted to go over and figure out was companies looking to hire recent engineering graduates from the University of Kentucky. And these are some of the companies that are willing to hire. I've talked with a couple of companies during the career fair, like NASA, Boeing, and stuff like that. So in my research, what I did is I sat in on 3 different classes. I sat in on a chemistry class. I can't remember the name of the professor, but it was really interesting. Didn't really know what was going on, but I really liked the idea of using chemicals to create new things and improve old formulas for everyday uses. I also sat in on a fluid mechanics class, which was really cool. I got to sit in with Dr. Winter, and he talked to me about radiation and how mechanical engineering students usually have a lot more opportunities outside of class. Interviews, I interviewed Adrian, a mechanical engineering student, and I interviewed Mike Sanders, a professional chemical engineer. I interviewed Dr. Smith, a mechanical aerospace engineer professor. I talked to her a lot about NASA because she actually worked with NASA for over 30 years, and that's the main company I've always wanted to work with. And so she was telling me about the internships and co-ops available to me. I also talked to Shravan, a chemical engineering student, and he told me about all the rigorous coursework and what type of homework they have to do. I also got involved in undergrad research because I really wanted to get into research, and so I now work with NASA Kentucky in their Eclipse project. I work at the UAV lab, which is unmanned aerial vehicles. Companies I've interviewed with, I went to GE Aviation in Cincinnati, interviewed with them. I got to see what they work with and stuff, and it was really cool. Possible internships for next summer, NASA Langley in Virginia. Dr. Smith actually talked to them and said that if I were to apply, I could probably end up interning with them next summer, and then GE Aviation, of course. So this is what I've been working on and what I've been researching. So this is GE Aviation. These are actual engines that go into the airplane. This is the solar eclipse project that we've been working on, and we have to do tests for the actual eclipse that's happening next summer. What I've gained is a lot of perspectives. I've really gotten to know what engineers have to do, and it's really amazing. And I've got a lot of opportunities. So I have officially decided to major in mechanical engineering with a minor in physics and a focus in aerospace. And yeah.